Welcome back to LDB Games. I'm Lord Darth Balls, and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video. In this video, I'm going to go through some of the upcoming changes to the blessings in the game. Plarium has announced 11 blessings will be modified in an upcoming update. I'm going to go over 5 of them. 3 of them I use on a handful of champions. 2 of them I really only use on 1 or 2. So let's get into it. First one I'm going to talk about is actually one of the few buffs. And it's one of the blessings that I use. And I use it on 2 champions in my top tier arena team, my main classic arena team that I use for farming gold 5, and that's Chainbreaker. What this does is at the start of the champion's turn, it gives you a chance of removing any of the control debuffs in the game, and it has a 3-turn cooldown. When it is high awakened, it actually gives you a chance of filling your turn meter if you take a hit while you're under one of these buffs. And the way it works, at 1 star, it's a 5% chance of a debuff removal. At 3 star, it's 10. And then at 5 star, it gives you a 10% chance of filling your turn meter by 10% when hit. And at fully awakened, it increases your chance of removing debuffs to 15 and increases the chance of filling your turn meter to 25. Still only 10%. Now, how's this going to change? Well, they're increasing all of the chances. They're increasing everything on one hand, right? So, and on the other hand, yeah, they're removing the cooldown. So this is huge. The removing of the cooldown is a massive buff to this, because that means if luck is with you, if luck is on your side, you could catch a provoke, cleanse it, on another turn catch a stun, and then cleanse it on your next turn. So you're never losing a turn to those controlled debuffs. However, you do need to have RNG on your side. Now let's talk about how the percentages are changing. So at 1 star, it's actually going to be increased to 10% chance of removing a debuff, which is nice. That doubles the chance of removing it. At 3 star, it's only a 30% increase to 15% chance of removing a debuff. And then at 5 star, it changes this from 10 and 10 to a 20% chance of filling your turn meter by 20% when hit under a controlled debuff. And then the fully awakened gives you a 25% chance of removing debuffs and a 40% chance of filling your turn meter by 20% when hit under a control debuff. Now, to me, this is actually a pretty big buff, and Chainbreaker, in my opinion, is mainly geared for the arena. It can be used in any part of the game. Hell, you can even use it in Clan Boss if you want, to try to cleanse that stun. However, at 6 star, 25% really isn't very much. So there's a lot that goes into that. But anyway, but I like this, and I use it on both my Madame Cerise and my Umbral Enchantress in the arena. And these 2 champions are what set up my nuker, right? To remove buffs, put decreased defense on, and then to either drop a provoke or a block buffs to prevent the other team from either getting a turn on their big abilities or being able to buff the squad up. So when I lose the speed race is when Chainbreaker can come in and actually do some good for me. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out when they update it. So let's move on to one of the nerfs. And this is one of the most popular blessings in the game. And I use it on a lot of my champions. And that's Phantom Touch. And it gives a chance of inflicting bonus damage. So what they're doing is they're reducing the chance to inflict bonus damage. So right now it's 20% at 1 star, 40% at 3 star, and 100% at 5 star, with 6 star being a chance to inflict a second instance. What they're doing to this one is they're lowering it to 15% at 1 star, 30% at 3 star, 75% at 5 star, and the only time you're going to be guaranteed a instance of bonus damage is at 6 star, and it also has the chance of inflicting a second instance of bonus damage. This is a decent nerf. There is something in their message that indicates they're going to be decreasing the amount of damage that it does as well. I really hope that's not the case, and if it is, it's minimal. I don't see a very big impact in the lowering of the RNG except at 5-star. 5-star is a pretty tough to get level of soul. 5-star soul is not the easiest to get, and that 100% chance is a nice reward for getting that. That's probably my biggest qualm with it. Am I going to keep this on my champions? Yes. This is still going to be one of the best blessings in the game. I have it on two of my clan boss champions, Turvold and Martyr. I have it on my Septimus. I have it on my Genbo. I have it on my Dark Elhain. All my big nukers that are not legendary get Phantom Touch. My Cold Hearts have Phantom Touch. My Bellower, my Fellhound, the Campaign Farmer. I was even playing around with Taya with Phantom Touch. My Rain Beast for Faction Wars is in Phantom Touch because it's just a great way to get extra damage. Now, unfortunately, there's just a lesser of a chance to get that bonus damage. Okay, on to the next nerf. The next nerf is one that I really don't use very much. I use it on 2 champions. It's Temporal Chains. And the primary usage is on my Duchess. My Syl has it as well because both my Duchess and my Syl are in my Doom Tower wave clear for the very high level hard floors. And this helps me keep the speed down on my enemies so that I can get more turns. However, Duchess I use in Tag Team Arena. And this is a really nice ability for Tag Team because whenever someone takes a buff, it decreases their speed, allowing you to kind of turn the tides of an arena match. Now, they're not changing any of the metrics. What they're changing is they're adding in a condition here. And what it means is it's not going to decrease the enemy's speed for any buffs that are placed before the start of the round. So one of the really nice places that this would work with Duchess in Arena is if you go up against a Krisk. That's 4 buffs, or 1 buff on each champion, decreasing each champion's speed by 2, 3, or 5%, and decreasing their turn meter. So this is a fairly serious nerf. However, I don't think it was intended to work on those buffs. Also, things like Stone Skin, Necrit's passive, these will all now not be affected by Temporal Change, which is a chains. I can't seem to say that word. Temporal Chains. Say that 10 times fast, huh? So this is a pretty serious nerf. Although I think this is one of the blessings that not many people use. But am I going to change? No, I'm probably going to keep it. I still see benefit of decreasing the speed for each active buff, even if it doesn't count the ones that are there pre-round. Sify puts up 3 buffs on a champion. That's 6%. That's a max out at the 1-star. So I'm not going to be changing that one. Now, probably the biggest nerf of them all is the one that I think is on the most... well, it's a legendary blessing, so maybe not. I have it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you guessed it, 7. It's Brimstone. Now, they're making a couple changes to Brimstone. As it stands right now, Smite cannot be removed, blocked, resisted, or transferred. So it lands, doesn't matter, no question, and it cannot be removed. Block buffs, block debuffs doesn't prevent this. High resistance doesn't prevent this. It cannot be cleansed. It cannot be transferred. Once it's on, and there's no chance of it missing or being resisted because it does have a percentage to land, right? At 6-star, no matter what's going on in the situation, Smite will land and it will stay on the enemy that you landed on. Right now, it's 20% at 1-star, 40% at 3, 70 at 5, and 100% at 6. Now, the way this is changing is it's going to 15%, 30%, 60%, and 100%. And they are removing this condition. And what they're doing is they're adding a High Awakening bonus. And that High Awakening bonus only applies to a 6-star blessing. And what that does is it makes the Smite a guaranteed and protected debuff. Now, they've changed the terminology. Guaranteed to me, and I could be wrong, means cannot be resisted, which means it could potentially still be blocked, which is a little annoying. Protected will prevent it from being removed or transferred, but the other downside is anywhere from 1 to 5 star awakened, this debuff can be blocked. It can be, it's still to be determined whether it's going to require resistance or whether it can accuracy or whether it can be resisted, and it can be cleansed. So how does this affect me? Because the rest of it is just, it's really just damage, but I use, I can't show you because I'm out of keys. I use three champions on my Iron Twins team that have, 3 of my Iron Twins champions have Brimstone. Now, Brimstone has some pros and cons in Iron Twins, because if the Brimstone hit brings the Iron Twin guy, the boss, down below a certain threshold, it'll cleanse the debuffs, but Smite stays. With this change, Smite will get ripped off as well, which is a little unfortunate because that is an extra chunk of damage that would be there regardless of whether you breach that threshold or not. So it is probably going to slow my runs down. Is there a better option? No. So am I keeping Brimstone? Yeah, I'm going to keep it, although this is a pretty serious nerf. The upside is I also use this in Clan Boss. Now, in Clan Boss, I have 2 champions with Brimstone. Because the Clan Boss doesn't cleanse, this doesn't have too much of an effect. The difference is the chance of landing it. So I'm probably going to see a small amount of damage reduced on my overall Clan Boss key. You can see I'm doing close to a 90 key. Sometimes it's more than 90 million, sometimes a little less than 87. But it's in and around 90 million per key. I'm probably going to see a reduction in that damage just due to the chances of it landing. But again, there's no better alternative. So I'm still going to keep all of those champions with it. Now the last one is a buff. And it's a blessing I only use on 1 champion right now, and it really doesn't have any effect. I mean, it does, but not much. And it's Miracle Heal. And it's the only blessing that's available for a healer right now. And frankly, the perks are pretty weak. So what they're doing overall is they're increasing it to 50% chance to restore 10%, 75% chance to restore 15%, 100% chance to restore 20%, and 100% chance to restore 30%. So is it better? Yes, a truckload better. Does it make or break the usage of this in Hydra? No. Because that's actually another area that the Brimstone nerf is going to affect me, right? In Hydra, I could land Smite when I had when a champion had just gotten eaten. Now, if that champion gets eaten, Smite is on, and I don't have the cleansing head provoked, Brimstone's cutting off. And that is a great way to get a digesting champion freed before he gets swallowed up. So I reckon my Hydra teams, which need a lot of work already, are probably going to need even more work now because of the nerf to Brimstone. And I'm hoping that the buff to Miracle Heal can offset some of that nerf that I feel when going up against Hydra. So there it is. Are you guys changing your blessings overall? I don't see the need to change any of the blessings that I have. There's a couple nice buffs and a couple disappointing nerfs. Am I mad? Not really. Am I annoyed? Maybe a little bit. It's just kind of the way it goes with any game update. You can't please everyone, and everyone's going to be pissed about something. They should have nerfed this, in my opinion. But I digress. And I'm also wondering when they're going to launch this, right? How are they already nerfing and buffing blessings without coming out with the final section or category or whatever it is? Anyway, thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you guys got something out of this. Be aware of the changes that will be coming because this could affect your teams. Other than that, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. And if you want to see more content from me, hit that subscribe button. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Enjoy your raid.